Good evening, September 22nd, 2022. I really just wanted to do a brief financial update. I am not a financial advisor. I just follow the markets and I follow world system events. And I'm a part of many different awakening communities and financial communities. So we had the Fed raise the Fed's federal fund rate, overnight rate, 75 basis points a couple of days ago. And, markets were really waiting on Fed Chair Powell's forward guidance to see what was going to be coming in the months ahead. And the Fed was very hawkish, and they advised that they are going to be doing probably full point rate hikes the rest of the year. This is probably going to put the markets over the edge. I don't know how these things are going to play out. I don't think anybody really does know, but the markets didn't like it. And we are definitely nearing some very critical levels that if we do see them break, we could be looking at mass liquidation and liquidity lockup in the credit markets. The yield curve has many inversions, is moving very erratically, very unstable, not normal at all. Rates are just very, very volatile, and they should not be moving that way on a daily basis. We're seeing rates now at levels that we were at in the late 90s and haven't seen since then. So something is about to break. I mean, I think anyone that knows anything about the financial system understands that something is on the verge of breaking. We're hearing about the Great Reset. We have been hearing about it for quite some time. I just wanted to talk a little bit about central bank digital currencies, UBI, and the FedNow accounts, and about revaluation of the dollar. So CBDCs, also known as central bank digital currencies, are already created for every nation. Every nation will be going, their central bank will be going to a central bank digital currency. Many nations are already on the system. They're using blockchain. They're using, they have the system. They say they're testing it, but they're already using it. So speaking in simple terms, the nations of the world will now take their currency and switch it over to a central bank digital currency that will run on blockchain technology. We know this takes away complete privacy. We can't hoard cash. We can't not pay taxes on money that we earn. Every transaction will be registered on a ledger, distributed ledger technology. And so each nation will work with the central bank digital currency through the private ledger, through the private sector, okay? In other words, each central bank, which is a private central bank of every nation, will have a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC, that will work with a private sector company to use that CBDC in the accounts for the people of that nation. And every nation seems to be working with a different private company. And the reason I believe that they're doing that is because it makes it appear that the central banks are not in cahoots, and they're not, that they're not the elites, and they're not taking over the nation's currencies. So therefore they'll work with a private sector company, but really they are the private sector companies. They set them up and they are them, but they have a name and they say that they're a private company, and they will be working with the central bank of each nation. Everyone in America who has a social security number has a FedNow account. I believe they were made in 2018. Now, whenever everything crashes, it's supposed to happen on a bank holiday weekend where there's a holiday on a Monday. We don't know how this is all going to play out. We really don't. When the credit market's going to freeze and how it's going to lock up and which market's going to break first. Some people believe there'll be a false cyber attack that will shut everything down. We don't know. We don't know. But we do know there is going to be a reset. And this is the part I want to get to. The US dollar is going to likely be revalued. This is why smart money is converting their dollars into hard assets like gold, silver, and certain types of cryptocurrency, because the US dollar is likely going to be revaluated somewhere near, it could be even 1,000 to 1. I know that's mind blowing. It could be 1,000 to 1. In other words, $1,000 that we have now turns into one central bank US FedNow US digital dollar. And when that revaluation happens, it will be an overnight revaluation. So anything that holds value, like a piece of silver, is still going to have the same value. It has intrinsic value. Later on, when the reset happens, that value is going to be much, much higher than even in dollars now. And this is why smart money is acquiring hard assets with their dollars, whether that's land, a cash flow business, real estate, silver and gold, crypto. Yeah, so things that can be revaluated later on and not lose their value, like US dollars will, are being acquired right now with US dollars. So UBI is universal basic income. It is going to be probably given by the government and put in the FedNow accounts, probably for free. It will probably be given at a 1-to-1 ratio at first so that people accept it, almost kind of like what they did during COVID. They did that purposely. It was a precursor. They gave money to stimulus checks to people for people to get used to getting money from the government. And so most likely what they will do is fund these FedNow accounts 1-to-1 at first, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think anyone really knows. With free digital dollars in there and get people used to using the FedNow account. And then when the overnight reset happens, digital dollars will be reset at a different valuation. I really don't know what that valuation is going to be, and I don't think anybody out here knows. So, if you have a large amount of money in the bank and it's revaluated, it's going to be a lot less dollars. Yeah, smart money's been acquiring silver and gold for, well, since the 90s. I mean, we're in a currency reset. We're in a currency cycle. So some people say, well, we got through 2000 bubble, the dot-com bubble crash. It was okay. We got through, and people lost everything. Some people lost everything. I've heard their testimonies. We got through the 2008 crash and everything was okay. And people lost everything in that too. Okay. Those were not currency bubbles. Those were not currency cycles. That's what I wanted to say. Those were not currency cycles. We're in a currency cycle where we're going into a new currency. Very, very different. The currency is going to be extremely, extremely devalued. It already is, but it's going to be revalued, especially the US dollar. And that's why America is going to probably be humbled the most because our currency has been the world reserve currency, and we've held the power and control through that currency. And we are going to go into the most shock in our nation when that reset happens. And I believe it's closer than we know, than we think, than we believe. Markets are shaking, the world is shaking, and I don't think anybody really knows exactly the order of things or how they play out, but we are definitely in a place we've never been before, and I don't think that anyone can really predict or plan perfectly. We can only use wisdom and pray and seek God. So I just wanted to just do an update on those things, and I'm getting the hiccups now, so I'm going to sign off. God bless and good night. I'm headed to bed.